and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 20 of A Wild Podcast Has Appeared. That's right, we are just one episode away from being legally able to drink. I am one of your hosts, Jim Biscardi, and as always, I am joined by Megan Peters and Christian Hoffer.
Hello.
I am here.
It's funny you mentioned drinking because the Pokemon anime's 21st anniversary was like this week in the U.S.
Oh, Ash, eternally a teenager.
Never gonna get to try that booze.
If you're new to this show, we talk about everything Pokemon. Pokemon stuff, Pokemon games, Pokemon clothing, Pokemon eating other Pokemon. Sometimes it gets real dark on this show. This week, it's probably going to get real dark. We break the show down into three parts really. I corrected myself a few episodes ago and then went back to my old ways. 3 parts. First part, we do some news. Second part, we do a deep dive. Third part, at the very end, Christian gives us a Pokemon fact of the week, and sometimes we read listener reviews. If you want your review read on air, live, not live, recorded for you to listen to on Thursdays when the show comes out, you can leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If we read it on air, we will send, not only will you feel super cool, we'll also send you a comic book t-shirt, free of charge, no questions asked.
Man, that sounds really wonderful, Jim.
Yep, it's actually really fantastic. A whole bunch of shirts went out last week. I would imagine people are going to start receiving them in the next day or two, and I am very excited to see people tweet them at us. So we had a lot of stuff to talk through today. Some Pokemon Go stuff, some Pokemon Gear stuff, and then we're going to talk about Sword and Shield, the new trailer that came out last week, but we had not yet had a chance to talk about that. So when we come back, we'll dive right into it. Okay. First things first, just to knock some stuff out of the way, there is a new calendar for the year, an anime calendar that has a bunch of Pikachus. It has a bunch of Pokemon on it, naturally.
Also Pikachu's.
Also Pikachus.
Yes, there's probably a Pikachu on every page of that calendar, so you're not.
Yes.
The one, and I'll let Christian dive into it, the one that stands out to me, and it's a thing that is going to pop up a number of times in our news section is, man, Pokemon Company really loves Alolan Vulpix. I feel like we've really, I mean, the Alolan Vulpix is a big part of the anime, but like you see it everywhere now.
Merchandise for days.
Seriously.
Well, it's adorable. Have you ever seen like a real life Arctic fox?
They're
like
adorable.
Those things are cute, and so this is the Pokemon equivalent of it.
But I feel like regular Vulpix never got this love.
No, because I mean it was like Generation 1, and there were other cuter Generation 1 Pokemon.
Wow.
Like
I mean there
Pikachu.
were. I mean, just facts.
Yep.
I think also it's just always had like a weird rivalry with Eevee.
With Eevee.
And so like Eevee is obviously still big, and then all of a sudden Vulpix got this like makeover and it was like, okay, I can fight now.
Eevee, I break up with Eevee. Alolan Vulpix is now my best friend.
Yeah, this calendar has like a bunch of like things that anime fans are like keying into because it is specifically using the Pokemon anime logo and several other things using the anime artwork and et cetera, et cetera. So one, people are interested in it because it's showing the Sword and Shield starters.
Yep.
So we get Sobble and we get Score Bunny and we see Grookey. But another thing is that on the cover of the calendar, there are a very specific set of Pokemon who anime fans will remember from the X and Y series from Serena. And so now the big question is will this character come back in this upcoming anime as Ash travels the regions? Will he finally get an uncensored kiss? Will they finally get together? I ship it.
I am excited. Serena is probably my favorite Pokemon character. They've definitely left like the door open for her to return at the end of X and Y, so I'm all about this. Like when I saw that cover, like first like, okay, so there's Shaman, so I guess we're gonna get Mallow back, and there's a Alolan Vulpix, so I guess Lily's coming back, and holy crap, there's Sylveon. Thank God, my OTP is coming home.
Yeah, so I am also on board with Christian. I love Serena. I love she's by far like my her and Misty for very different reasons, just because she's like my OG. But like if I like based on character and like story and everything, Serena is amazing. Plus like her like history and her like crush on Ash is just like kind of adorable. And I just like sit there the whole time yelling like, "Get together! I know you're 12, but really you're like 30 something, so it's okay." But yeah, no, that's kind of the question right now, is if that calendar is meant to be read into a little bit, which, you know, I'm willing to do that if it means Serena's
So
coming back.
when can we get our hands on this calendar? Do we know?
I don't know. It's go to Japan.
Yeah, it's from what we understand, it's pretty much just like a Japanese release right now. It's not out yet. It's just kind of like scans of it have been slowly making the internet as like stores overseas like release product pictures for their website. So far, like there's no official release for the U.S. from the Pokemon Center, but one can hope.
We never get close.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the leftovers.
Or at
When
least,
they
like,
make too much.
I just feel like it's such an easy thing to just toss onto the website for people to pick up. Like, I mean, it's a calendar.
I mean, but think about it though. Like, you have to ship those overseas. You have to get a translated version. Because I mean, this has all the Japanese kanji on it. So like it's not like it says January on it. And, whatever the Japanese version of January is. So you have to get it reprinted. You have to ship it overseas. There's actually a lot of cost to it. I mean, I get it for stuff like that. And you gotta wonder how many people are actually buying calendars nowadays.
True.
I mean, this is a total tangent, but Amazon sent us a calendar for the boys that was just the Deep, and it went over very well in the office. It was very funny.
But is anyone using those calendars? That is my question.
No, probably not.
There we go.
There we
If
go.
Pokemon's going to make a calendar, it expects you to use that calendar. So
On a sort of related tangent to that, earlier today, some new key art got leaked of some of the starter Pokemon from Pokemon Sword and Shield, and one of them is a picture of Sobble, and he's definitely doing the turnaround pose.
Oh,
So it's butt is facing the camera, and he's kind of looking, and it either looks like he's a fashion model or he's getting ready to twerk, and it is the most adorable thing I've ever seen.
For those of you who maybe only be listening to the audio, if you want to watch Christian try and do that pose, I highly recommend checking the video out. Because...
I mean, I got nothing.
he's also wearing blue, so one might actually mistake him for Sobble.
There we go.
If you could just cry for us,
I
Hoffer.
have that millennial dread thing going, so constant low-level anxiety no matter what I do. So yeah, it fits. I've adopted Supple as my own.
I mean, hey, if he wants to twerk, he has to pay the bill somehow.
That's right. All right, moving on to some Pokemon Go news. 4 region-exclusive Pokemon being added to the 10-kilometer eggs.
Yep, that's part of this week's Ultra bonus. So, hatch those eggs. They're all shiny now.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
that's a thing. So people are seem to be getting into that. I have yet to get a 10-kilometer egg from this event. So,
That bitterness
Wow,
sounds. That bitterness runs deep.
The bitterness of the voice, but also the way he sent the faraway glance to nowhere. Both.
I don't really care about this too much. I got all these regional exclusives 2 years ago when they did this the first time around. So, it's not that big of a big deal to me. But
But do you have them shiny?
No, I don't have them shiny, Jim. Do you have them shiny?
No.
Never.
No.
Not once.
I mean, I would like them shiny. Not
Well,
really.
yeah, but there's a 1 in 6,000 chance. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. It's actually 1 in 1,000.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the. But more importantly, I actually think this is the bigger news is that as part of this event, whatever reason, they added 4 new Pokemon species to Pokemon you can find in the wild. These were all Pokemon that appeared before, but now you can actually catch them in the wild instead of having to go through raids or catch them from eggs. And I think that's actually really freaking awesome.
And they are.
Absol and Mawile, which those were Gen 3 Pokemon, and those have been consistently in raids since late 2017. and then Alolan Vulpix, and Alolan Sandshrew. And
I'm
all
surprised
four-
Alolan Sandshrew gets the love that it gets. Because I don't think it's that cute.
I mean, it's an igloo.
Yeah.
In Pokemon form. What's there not to like about him?
It's just
Do you
new
not
and
like
shiny.
it?
Nope, I guess I don't like igloos.
Well, there we go. Send your complete letters to editor at Comicbook.com.
I just don't like Sandshrew that much.
You like the weirdest Pokemon, and yet you don't like Sandshrew?
Yeah.
Like, you think Graveler is a superior Pokemon to Sandshrew?
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead. Try and fight me on it.
I mean, I'm not going to fight you on it. I mean, I question your taste in Pokemon, but I mean, I already question your taste in Pokemon. You know, I mean, I think Sandshrew a perfectly delightful Pokemon, and I love his little igloo body. He's a little igloo Sandshrew. I mean, he's no Alolan Vulpix, but, you know, he's still pretty cute.
True.
That's all I have on that one. Also, moving along, Pokemon Trading Card World. This one I love. There is an Eevee card out there that is truly one of the strangest ones I think we've seen in a very long time.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah. So there's they hired a Japanese webcomic artist to do an Eevee illustration. And so it's this, like, incredibly chubby Eevee, and he's like laying in a nest and yawning. So this guy's like best known for like doing these webcomics of like this like very plump cat trying to eat food, and like there's a fail at every single time. So, you know, basically it's like a fat cat Eevee. It's freaking weird little man. I mean, it puts me up, but like,
where's this card showing up though?
It's part of the Pikachu GX and Eevee GX special collection box.
Oh, okay.
So it comes out in November here in the US. It's either already been released or will be released in Japan by, you know, long before it comes out here in the United States. But, you know, this card was like one of those like somewhat of a big deal cards because they brought in like, you know, a pretty well-known artist to do a Pokemon card. They've done that a couple of times. And so, you know, it was a big deal over in Japan. I think they're just trying to get the promo card out here in the US. So it's like, oh, we'll just toss it in this box. We're going to have a very normal-looking Pikachu and a very, like, chubby Eevee.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, like I honestly really want my hands on this card. I'll probably just buy the card individually, though.
Yeah.
From like
I mean, speaking of that November set, some of the artwork for like the collector tins for in a November TCG set came out, and it is the Mewtwo Strikes Back artwork. So that basically gives soft confirmation that the English dub is coming out, because that's when that set will be coming to America. They're really not going to be like promoting that artwork on the TCG unless, like, you know, they're going to be having that movie out. I'm pretty impressed. That's a pretty quick turnaround for the
That's a
Pokemon
very
Company.
quick turnaround.
Pokemon Company tends to take their slow time bringing the films to the U.S. because they usually traditionally just do it dubbed. So I'm curious to see if this version will be subtitled, which if it is, that's like the first time that's ever happened where they've brought Japanese audio to America, or if they were able to do the dub quicker, which they should be able to. The anime industry definitely has those capabilities. So
maybe they just use the original sound from the like the original movie and just added in a few new lines, so it's going to be really obvious when they tossed in like the new parts, because it's a totally different set of voice actors.
Who would put this in theaters?
It'll be like the Fathom.
Like,
it would be
Fathom thing, or?
Yeah, it would be Fathom and the Pokemon Company itself. It wouldn't go through like a second distributor or anything. The only like Funimation doesn't have any. The only like second distributor in the U.S. that licenses Pokemon is Viz Media. So they do like the DVD bundles. They do the production of that with Pokemon Company, and then they translate the manga. So if it would be anybody, it would be Viz. But usually these things are just Pokemon Company and Fathom together.
And
Nice.
we're technically probably shouldn't mention this, but how it's worked in the past is that they get like a very limited release
Yeah.
which lasts like a few weeks before Thanksgiving, and then on like Black Friday, it'll hit Disney XD. But God forbid not mention that early before they announce it, because Disney XD will or the Pokemon company will yell at you. The only not nice email I've ever gotten from the Pokemon
Oh, I
company
remember this.
was when we reported on the fact that cable listings were promoting
Showing, yeah.
the upcoming showing, and they're like, we have not announced this. Like, talk to your cable providers. Like, what are we supposed to do, man?
Yeah.
I remember that. That was
Those are always a little tense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Clench a little bit and be like, oh, I'm sorry.
Whatever. All right, one last thing before we get into the Sword and Shield trailer. Masters, which I've completely given up on. Not really. That's a lie.
You've just mostly given up.
I've mostly given up on it. It's having a rock type training event.
This is your chance for Graveler?
No, Graveler will never be added to this game. But if you have a rock type Pokemon and you put it through this event, it'll get boosted XP. And you get vouchers and all this kind of the same stuff that you get if you've done the blue event. And as part of this, there is a banner in which you have an increased chance of getting Olivia, who is the best rock type trainer in the game. And Olivia is kind of like my main attacker in Pokemon Masters, so I do highly recommend that you pick it up. But
yeah, she's super OP. It's kind of nuts. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk the Sword and Shield trailer that came during the Nintendo Direct last week. It was a good one, so stay tuned. Okay, so I want to open with a question. Gala or Galar?
Galar.
If you listen
Galar.
to the trailer over and over and over again, the R is silent.
no, it's not.
Am I just crazy?
You're crazy.
I'm going to listen to it
Yes.
again. I'm almost positive. I was like, because
Which trailer were you watching?
Well, the one or the guy talking through the Nintendo Direct.
Trailer.
Yeah, the guy talking through the Nintendo Direct. He's saying, when you visit the Galar region, and I couldn't tell if he was combining his R's from Galar and region and just said Galar region.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. But it's the Galar region when you go to.
But then why would he say Gala?
Because he was going the Galar
Gala
region.
is different.
Yeah,
than
he was going
Ga.
Gala.
Yeah, he
As
was just
opposed-
combining his R's at the end of it.
I don't think so.
Well, even when you listen to the actual Pokemon people from Japan, despite the fact the Japanese language does not have the R noise, they managed to say Galar. So they just did not get a great voiceover guy for the Nintendo Direct because it's Galar.
Fair.
The Japanese creators make a point to hit that R every time they say it, even though it's not in their native tongue. So
Do not demean their sacrifice, Jim.
I know. Yeah, they're going to get mad. They'd be like, I practiced 3 weeks to say this
But that's
one
what I'm saying.
sound.
Okay, so then maybe I'm crazy. All right, well,
You're not crazy because that one voiceover guy just rolled it all together like he was super
Yeah.
Southern, which I can say because I am from the South. But I was like, just pronounce it, enunciate.
that is kind of hard. Not kind of hard to say. I mean, it's Galar in region. You have the R. And whatnot.
Galar
All right.
region.
Galar region. Galar, not Galar. Galar.
Galar.
Okay.
that was the Pokemon.
On that note, we had our little tip. That was the entire trailer.
Okay.
It was just somebody.
I thought this direct was pretty. I thought it was pretty cool in that it showed us a bunch of things that we can do in the game that again weren't really super Pokemon specific. And I liked it. I liked the ability to super customize your player. I think that's a lot of fun. And that was one of the things that I've kind of always wanted to do and like to do, or as they sort of dropped in bits here and there, especially in Let's Go. And then they introduced camp Pokemon, and they introduced cooking and crap. What was the other thing? No, those are the all right. Those are the three big things, and then we got
Pokemon.
I kept thinking of the numbers in the trailer in my head. I was like, wait, what the hell's going on? And then we only got 2 overall as a news drop That was enough?
Yeah, I mean, this was not. So this was a part of the
Megan seems to think otherwise, but I'm going to let you go first.
Well, here's the thing. It was part of the Nintendo Direct. They weren't going to announce anything that was going to overshadow all of Nintendo's other announcements. So when you take it in that context, in which they were trying to focus on the fact that like Banjo-Kazooie is in the game, is in Super Smash Brothers, and Luigi Mansion 3 is a thing, and I honestly can't remember what else got announced during that. But when you keep it in that context, this was part of an announcement. If this was just a Pokemon Direct, this wouldn't be enough. But in the context of Nintendo wanted to do something, they wanted to get some Pokemon Sword and Shield news in there, but they also wanted to make sure that it kind of fit in with all their other announcements so that we didn't spend all our time talking about Pokemon and thinking about the other thing. Then yeah, it was perfectly enough for me.
Megan?
The thing is I feel like it almost like crippled itself at some points because like what Hoffer just said, you remember two things, like 1.5 things about like Luigi's Mansion, like Banjo-Kazooie was like arguably the biggest thing that came from the Direct, aside from at the very end where they were like, oh, the SNES titles are available for online users. You can use those now.
Which
like,
I played quite a bit this weekend.
Same, very much did so.
A lot of Yoshi's Island.
So like, I mean, Link's Awakening, that game is the closest to coming out. They didn't really show anything. I was like, that game comes out in 9 days now. And I was like, okay, so closer. They didn't really show about Super Smash was supposed to do very well. But it really just backfired more so in the US, which I think is a problem in and of itself because that game's huge internationally.
Is it really?
It's huge in South America.
I had no idea.
Latin America, that is like their Dragon Ball of games. Like they love it. They love it so much. So like I felt like Pokemon really needed to step up, especially since it's one of the next like major titles coming out for the Switch, aside from Link's Awakening, but it's like 9 days from now. What they were going to do is going to be done already. So I was expecting I just think they needed a couple more like showcase Pokemon. I feel like that's what I'm missing. Like the customization I really enjoyed. Like all of the gameplay aspects they showed I really liked, but I felt like they just missed the mark with the Pokemon that they introduced.
Realistically, how many more trailers / direct / whatevers do you think we will get between now and Sword and Shield?
I mean, we'll get something that'll announce the rest of the legendaries. We'll get something that announces the starter evolutions. There's a couple more rumored things that will be coming out. I mean, we've got Gigantamax forms and stuff like that, but they really do seem to be playing it close to the chest. Like, my big concern coming out of this trailer, and I'll agree with you on this, Megan, like when they released the 2 new Pokemon, and they're like, okay, we're doing 2 new Pokemon, and this is what you get. And I was like, oh, that's it? Like, we're not getting more Pokemon species? And so I was a little worried, like, okay, is this going to be kind of like a like Pokemon Sun and Moon sort of situation where they're only adding, like, 50 or so, like, normal Pokemon species?
Like the closer we get, the more and more I have a gut feeling that that's the case. It might not be 50. I feel like it's definitely under 100. Like it's definitely like lower down than what a lot of fans are anticipating, given that this is a Switch console game. That's just what I was a little afraid of. And like even if they did only introduce 2 Pokemon, like one of those Pokemon could have been another showstopper. Like I don't know how many Yampers they have, but like they could have done another Yamper.
that's it. And I think to me that was probably the weakest part of that is like so of the 2 new Pokemon we've got Poltegeist and Cramorant. And Cramorant to me felt was a total. I thought was the weakest one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it seemed.
Whoa.
You liked Cramorant?
Tell me that a Pokemon that literally spits out other Pokemon is somehow an underwhelming Pokemon to you guys? Guys, this is a Pokemon that shoots other Pokemon out of its mouth.
That's fine to me.
But but that's after it fishes from its surf.
It was just. It was just like a super.
It like got a like built-in retaliate feature which also is shooting a Pokemon out of its mouth. And they didn't even show the rumored best part about it, which occasionally it apparently catches Pikachu.
Yes.
I mean, that's the rumor, is that occasionally when it surfs, it ends up with a Pikachu in its mouth, and then it spits a Pikachu butt out it. How can you not love that? That's like, Poltergeist was the one where I was like, who was smoking? And were they smoking when they designed this Pokemon?
Okay, no, but
The thing is the design. The design of Poltergeist goes with the Galar region
right
idea. It's
and that's what I liked about it. But also, there's that line in there that says, oh, and if it likes you, maybe it'll let you taste its tea. It's supposed to be made of tea. So there's two questions here. Are you drinking Poltergeist? Mm-hmm. Or where is this tea coming from?
You're drinking its excrement.
Is this excrement? Like what? I just don't understand. But to me, like that, like to me, Poltergeist felt more like a Galar type Pokemon there, and I love there's a fun little story that I think we wrote on Comic Book, but someone years ago, and this always happens with at least one or two Pokemon all the time, basically predicted Poltergeist.
Yeah, I went hunting for that post. There was like Poltergeist, and I can't remember. It was another T one.
Yeah,
but it was like, okay.
But I thought that one was a fun one, and it was a cool ghost type. Like, to me, Cramorant just feels like something you're going to find very early in the game, like a Spearow, and you're never going to want to see ever again.
Only because you're going to be so upset as it keeps firing off mystery fish Pokemon at your face. That's the reason why. Let's be clear. Jim does not want to capture this Pokemon because he doesn't want to deal with the constant barrage of fish being flung at him.
Yes, that is it.
I mean, it just feels like none of these Pokemon really drew up a bunch of conversation. I mean, we had those moments of like, oh, what is that Pokedex entry? But like all of the other either Nintendo Directs or Pokemon Directs, obviously, I mean, the starters. Then we had Yamper, we had Obstagoon, we had Pokemon that made us go, excuse me, what?
Yeah,
and like.
Cool.
Carried sustained conversation. Right. So I feel like that's what
I would have loved
missing.
At least like here, like we would have gotten Poltergeist and maybe another Galar or Galar.
Yeah,
whatever,
I was really
evolution.
hoping for another Galar region Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because we know that there's at least a few more species that are floating out there, and I think that one of those would have broke the internet in a why are we Pokemon sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just felt like that's really what the Nintendo, especially the point because Pokemon came a little bit like mid to like later. I was like, that would have been a nice climax. Then we had like the Animal Crossing stuff and then the SNES, and that would have been like a good way to do it. I know they didn't want to overshadow, and I know they're playing close to chess, but I'm just also like, give us a little bit of information, but it's difficult to tell.
The only thing that I'm kind of curious about with this trailer was that it showed off 2 more species of mystery Pokemon. So we're up to 5 species of mystery Pokemon, which leads me to believe that, they've got a lot more arrows in their quiver left to play.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like they're just showing a bunch of Pokemon kind of just doing things. Like there was that one cactus looking one.
That's an existing Pokemon species, Jim.
That one didn't look like one. Oh, I thought it was whatever.
The thing is I know you've been talking about the fish and Cramorant. Is that actually going to be a Pokemon, or is that just going to be like a regular fish in this universe?
That brings up a lot of really strange questions.
So let's get to cooking, because that's where we're going here. So cooking curry and whatever is a new feature you will be able to do to feed all the Pokemon in your party, and it's not all vegetarian.
No, there's definitely sausage curry, and people are flipping out about this. This was the actual thing that people just kind of gave the hard stare into the camera, and it's look at this sausage curry. Here's 100 species of you have your own curry deck. And there's 100 recipes of curry, and it's what's It's in the curry.
So this made me realize that, like, I guess there is no normal livestock in this world, right?
As far as we know, there might be. That might be Pokemon's next big reveal in the Nintendo Direct.
Livestock.
Introducing cows. Introducing chicken. Like, that might be the next big reveal. But
Well, we don't really have.
if not, your milk tank is making your like
Did
beef.
you say we don't have a chicken Pokemon?
Not like a really chicken Pokemon.
Torchic.
Torchic. That's what I would imagine are buffalo wings at.
That's
Those are rare Pokemon, though. Like, you know,
Torchic is 900% your McDonald's nugs in that universe.
Oh my god, that's absolutely terrifying, and it also disturbs me just a little bit that you both were immediately like, "Oh no, Torchic is what people consume on all their salads, and what kids like eat breaded versions of." Like,
How
yes,
many
it's definitely-
chicken strips could you get out of a Blaziken?
My god,
That was dark and I hated myself for it, but like, think about it. This universe, as we've said, you look too hard.
Well,
It's
that's it. I
horrifying.
mean, obviously, there is a circle of life in this in the Pokemon. It exists, but also if there is not livestock in this world, then you just have to assume. I mean, because look, these Pokemon run wild and free, and then there are people who breed these Pokemon in the same way that people are breeding cows and pigs and chickens and all that jazz. But I think it gets a little weird when you have things like Poltergeist or Alcremie, where there are 26 different flavors.
like it's the Baskin Robbins Pokemon. I can't. That was the other thing that was just weirding me out. It's like, yes, this is literally animated Preem, which let's get the jokes out of the way now. But it's literally animated cream, and oh, by the way, there's 26 flavors of it. It literally turns into a giant freaking ice cream cake. Like, it's like, do people eat it, right? We're all just under, like, there are probably Alcremie machines in which they stuff an Alcremie like in the top, and you
Oh my
pull
God.
the lever, and it just squeezes it until Alcremie cream comes out. Right?
I wouldn't necessarily go that dark. I would just assume that the Alcremie is maybe working at a stand or whatnot. And,
yeah, we have Pokemon jobs. in this game.
using there's jobs. It's just using its fingers or whatever, and it just comes out that
People
way.
don't want to.
Huh?
People don't want to see that. You don't drink the milk straight from the cow. That
That's
Alcremie
true.
is
It's
like
got to get processed. That is true. Fair enough.
Anyways,
that-
curry is basically in this new game. I am now decidedly only eating vegetarian curry. All my Pokemon can deal with it.
There's vegetable Pokemon too, Megan.
That's true.
I'm gonna have to believe in this world they've gone to like Star Trek levels of technology, and they have just like replicators that they can like replicate food
They do
from.
have Pokeballs, which have the ability to convert, like 100-pound creatures plus into like some sort of like energy form. So maybe they just don't talk about all the restaurants have replicators in the back.
That's what I'm going with, because this curry stuff's getting too dark.
Well, so that's the interesting thing, right? Like we just said, like they don't necessarily have livestock, but we know they definitely have like vegetables and things like that they may or may not be using Pokemon for. But like carrots, you've seen carrots and things like that.
I mean, there's berries.
That berries exist that are
Yeah.
not Pokemon until maybe
Yeah,
maybe the next
that's
announcement.
right.
Yeah, let's not speak too soon.
It's coming, basically.
Knock on wood. Yeah, no, we eat Pokemon, and that just seems to be a thing that we just accept. We literally have our food fight, and when they lose, we eat them.
Interesting thing too, total tangent. That we did see two Dynamax Pokemon, Eevee, and I'm forgetting who the other one was. But does that mean the Eevee evolutions can't Dynamax, or are we just assuming they
No,
can
any
if Eevee
Pokemon.
can?
Any Pokemon can Dynamax.
Well, I thought they said, it's Gigantamax in that.
Gigantamax.
That there's also.
So we
sorry. That
didn't
is
see
my-
like a special Eevee form for the
Mm-hmm.
Gigantamax. But who knows? Maybe that's coming. Maybe we'll see a chubby Eevee pop up.
We only
yawning.
need chubby Pikachu.
That's coming.
That's all
That's
I
also
need.
And then the last thing, which seemed just kind of like a weird, dumb throwaway thing, was obviously Pokemon Camp.
Yeah, well, that's just the new Pokemon to me.
Yeah.
In past games, there were ways that you could play with your Pokemon, and they're clearly building that, and it has a little bit of an element of like hidden bases from Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. So,
The guy doing the voiceover seemed very adamant that you do it. He goes, "You play with your Pokemon, and you play with other people's Pokemon, and you will get stuff."
something good may happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what that's all about. Like, I'm sure that you'll get like some like little benefit, like when you max out your friendship with the Pokemon, it doesn't like get knocked out when it takes a massive hit and stuff, or it like shakes off poison. Like, there's always a reason for you max out your friendship with Pokemon. Using those, they level up quicker. They do lots of things.
I hate all that extra crap. Just give me. Just play it straight.
Jim just wants to have his Pokemon fight, and then he wants to eat his Pokemon when he's done.
Just want to win. That's all. I don't want to do extra stuff to win. I just want to do it.
Wow, that's
through
dark.
training
and
playing.
eating.
Wow, that was dark.
I guess that just about covers that for the trailer. Again, like I said, it's a weird one. Like it gave you a lot, but did it really? Like I said, the clothing thing.
It was all like
like.
It was all like little extra features, which you're right, Jim. Like probably like 50% of people won't ever do the curry stuff.
Yep.
But for those of us who enjoy curry and like to think about the horrific existential crisis that comes along with it, it's something. It's trying to build out the game and widen it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's just widened it in a very specific direction. Just curry, nothing else. Only curry. Curry is everything.
And it's not it's not even like a British-ish dish.
Curry
right?
is huge
Yes,
over there.
I don't know. I've never been over
Curry's
there.
like when I lived over there, like curry was everywhere.
Is that all they did?
Well, it's because they have such like, especially in like London, they have such like it's like
idea.
New York. It's like such a mishmash of like people.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those people have come from like areas where curry is like a native food. So like curry is everywhere over there.
Well, clearly, I had no idea.
I still wish
mean,
we
well,
had
they
like
do-
tea flavors, but also curry over there is pretty great.
Was it Christian?
I said they can't do fish and chips, or like Magikarp and chips, like let's make it explicit, guys. Reading Pokemon.
Don't give them ideas, Hoffer.
All right, Christian, what's our Pokemon fact of the week?
So speaking about eating Pokemon,
That's a great segue.
let's talk about an adorable Pokemon from the Alola region, and there are like 3 terrible awful facts about it. Like when I was like looking up this, I was just getting more and more horrified. So let's talk about Bonsweet. How can you consume it?
Orally.
Oh God, nothing that feels safe or suitable for the podcast. How do you eat Bonsweet?
Well,
Do you just rip its leaves off?
Oh my God, that's terrible. That's so inhumane, Jim. Jesus. No, you can drink it. So Bonsweet, you can distill its sweat and turn it into a juice.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna throw up. I've been sick for like the last day or so. I had like food poisoning, and this is just bringing back bad memories.
Yeah, it's like when they were like talking about, it's like, oh yeah, you can have some Bonsweet juice, and I was like, oh my God, you're drinking Bonsweet's blood. Nope, you're drinking its sweat. Like, and the other thing is, because it smells so sweet, Pokemon will often come and eat it up whole. And when they first announced the Pokemon, they made a note that Bonsweet like skips away and tears, but it looks so adorable while it does it. Nobody helps it because like, oh, look at this actual Pokemon, and then like and like swallows it whole. But, this is another Pokemon. Her life is just an existential nightmare.
I guess I know we were just talking about
That's
like berry Pokemon. I guess Bonsweet's probably like a very close looking one.
Yeah. And apparently you don't squeeze it to get it juice.
You make it sweat. You make it
So
really
actually,
uncomfortable.
The other Pokemon, you run up next to it with a little cup and it's sweat. And then
There's probably
water it down for delicious juice.
There's like probably like literal sweatshops for Bonsweet in the Pokemon. I hate this. This universe is too dark.
That's so weird.
That's poor guy. Poor girl, or poor Pokemon, just in general.
Poor girl. Apparently, according to Bulbapedia, they are 100% female.
Oh, that's even worse, because now it's just like trying to run away, and everyone's like, "Oh no!" It's very much like bystander, like the bystander effect. Like,
but then what happens when it evolves?
It becomes an even sweatier Pokemon. Maybe it starts selling its sweat on its own. Like, kind of like that bathwater girl.
oh boy. Bringing up an old news cycle, Hopper.
Man. This is a...
Well, there you go.
Guys.
If you want to hear more Pokemon facts, if this is your first one, you need to go back and listen to our previous episodes. There's 19 of them for you to choose from. And I would say at this point, maybe 75% of those facts are horrifying.
Yes.
Maybe even higher. Maybe I'm skewing it. It's like 85%.
There's the occasional fluffy one.
Yep. Some fun ones there, but some of them are the most of them are terribly dark. But anyway, a whole bunch of them for you to choose from. And if you want to get caught up on a whole bunch more Sword and Shield stuff, some more Pokemon Master stuff, now is definitely the time to go back into our library to check those out, because they're very informative, if I must say so myself. And they're just a lot of fun. You get more antics like this. And as we've gone 20 episodes in, this has been 20 weeks because we do it once a week. It gets more and more existential as we go. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, because as we go further into the darkness and madness, we want you to join along with us. This show can be found wherever podcasts can be found: iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. If you need an RSS feed, we have one of those. So make sure you find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit that subscribe so you never miss an episode. 2 months away from Sword and Shield. We're just waiting. Hopefully the next couple of announcements aren't as lukewarm, I would say, as last week's Nintendo Direct. And hopefully we'll get news about Mewtwo Strikes Back coming to theaters soon. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, hopefully.
I can't wait to see that. And yeah, I think that about does it for us. If you want to talk about why I don't like Sandshrew, you can hit me up on Twitter at Jim Viscardi.
If you want to talk about why I love Vaporeon, you can hit me up at
You almost
Twitter.
made an entire episode without Megan mentioning Vaporeon. I even mentioned Eevee. You were so close.
I seed it perfectly.
So close.
But you can talk to me about that on Twitter at MeganPetersCB.
And if you want to see me berate Jim and Megan on Twitter, you can find that at CHofferCBus.
True, totally unrelated to Pokemon. There was a note earlier this week that we are big My Hero Academia fans here in the office, and the three of us are big My Hero Academia fans. And Megan and I did not realize that UA, the school that they all go to, is literally on their uniforms.
Yeah.
I just until it was totally pointed out to me, and Christian was like, I noticed that in like the first episode.
Well, like the article popped up on, Comicbook.com's Twitter account, and I was like, oh, come on, guys. Like, are we just saying, like, I never noticed Deku's hair was green. Did you guys notice that? I legitimately thought it's like I'm sure someone did notice this, but this is not a vague egg or fact. And then, like, the entire anime staff, Tim was like, I never noticed that. I, too, did not notice this. I'm like, what bizarre world are we living in?
There's a good chance that if we didn't recognize it, a lot of less like fanatics or like casual fans would have never realized it.
Well, because to me, I guess I always thought they were all a little bit different based on their body types. And so, like, the part that I didn't catch was the U up front. That part I did not catch. And And that was just the thing, is because I never paid close enough attention, I guess, thinking that everyone had a slightly different costume, kind of like the X-Men did. But like it was more of a color thing for UA, that it was the blue and the white, and it was just everyone was a little bit different. But then when I looked at it, I was like, oh no, they are all wearing the same thing.
Yeah, I'll say this. I didn't really pick up on it until the school festival arc, or not the school festival arc, the tournament arc. When they're all wearing the outfit. When it was just Midoriya who was wearing it, I would get why you wouldn't like put two and two together, because he's the only one wearing his gym uniform during that like big fight sequence at USJ. But yeah, in season 2, I was like, yes. There is the U, there is the A.
But I can't even remember. Like, I must have to just. I'm due for a rewatch anyway to catch up for the next season. And now we've gone completely off on a tangent here. But there is no scene where they're all kind of standing together, or not that I can remember. I'm sure there is one. And now when I do my rewatch, I'm sure I will see that and be like, yep, there it is.
Yeah, it's season 2. They're all wearing it and they're all standing together. Because it's the entire like race. So it's like 100 students all wearing the same gym outfit with UA on it. And
My Hero Academia podcast coming to Comicbook.com real soon.
Yeah, don't worry. For all you anime fans, we'll get you this somewhere. But in the same way we cover everything anime, we do the same thing Pokemon. So
that's true.
Of course, we're going to go on a tangent.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening this far. If you didn't just hit stop after you started hearing us rattle off our Twitter handles, congratulations. You got some insight into what it's like here at the Comicbook.com office. But we will catch you next week. Thanks for listening.